It's a beautiful day. I have my huge head wrap on and I want to show you guys I got this new toothbrush that I am going to do a review on. Travel toothbrush. It's an electronic toothbrush and this is my first electronic toothbrush, so I'm really excited to use it. I just want to show it to you guys real quick. Oops. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I've never had an electronic toothbrush before. It's from Dazzle Pro and I'm gonna see what it's like and then I'll do a review for you guys. Yeah, so today I am going to go to the park and film some videos, and I need to do the Banana Island Q&A. Video will be filmed by the time you see this. I'm just listening to Lennon and Aida Honor on YouTube and I need to do dishes. A lot to get done today. I'm gonna post some of my shoes on Etsy because I think I am done with heels. If not for good, then for a long time, but I think I'm gonna do my best to just retire heels. After hurting my ankle, I am really treasuring the health of my ankles and my legs. So your legs have to get you around for the rest of your life, so I don't want to risk hurting them, but who knows, maybe in a few years I'm going to change my mind once they're completely healed. But for now, I am retiring my heels. If you guys are interested in seeing what shoes I have posted, they will be on my Etsy, so be sure to check. They will be up by the time you see this. So yeah. Before I brush my teeth, I'm actually going to put some aloe on my face. I have been using this almost every day pretty much. I think I may have missed one day for the past, I think at least a week. I have been using this on my face and my chest and I have seen such a big difference using aloe. I just cut it and slice through the juiciness so that it's easier to use and I get a lot of product on my face. Natural product. So yeah, I just rub it on my face. Oh, it's cold, it's cold. Yeah, I just rub it on my face like this. It's so juicy and slimy, but it is such a good facial. And I also rub this on my chest, and I'm gonna do that after this clip because I'm not gonna show you guys that. I have seen the most results, like smoothness, on my chest. I'm just reading the instructions for this Dazzle Pro toothbrush and we're supposed to do it for 120 seconds, which actually is a long time. I haven't used it yet, but I like the idea that it's timing you, that you need to do it for that long. I want to take better care of my teeth. It's supposed to be a good travel brush, which is why they contacted me to review it for you guys, because it's supposed to be a great on-the-go travel electronic toothbrush. So after I do my facial, I'm gonna get to that. That was my first time using an electronic toothbrush. It was very interesting. My teeth feel very clean. It was actually very simple. It pretty much did the work for me. Wow, okay. We'll see what I think in a few days when I do a review, but my first time, and I'm actually impressed that I didn't have to do much and it did all the work and my teeth feel clean. This tastes so good. The bananas were the perfect ripeness. Banana spinach smoothie with water, and actually has a very delicious flavor because of the ripeness of the bananas, and I like this kind of banana. There are different types of bananas and this one is very good. Cheers! I just finished the Banana Island Q&A tips, kind of questions and slightly answers, not the full answers. I typed all of this out and kind of planned what my video structure is going to be, and as you can see, there's a lot of that I want to cover, so it's gonna be quite a long video. But if you're interested in doing the Banana Island, then I recommend you check out my Q&A video. I will have a link in the description box for you guys. My restroom right now smells super delicious. It smells like freshly cooked Korean food, and it comes from the vents, and it smells so good. I can't pinpoint the exact dish, but it's a familiar dish that I can't think of right now, but it smells really good. So I'm at the park now, and it's a really beautiful day today. The weather is not too hot. It's around 3:30, and there are a lot of people out camping, Korean style. If you can see, they have their tents. There's someone over there. There's a tent all the way over there, there. So many tents out. I can count in my closest view about 15 tents. Yeah, that's Korean style camping. Shades them from the sun. It's actually very smart, but it's smart because you don't get too hot all day long. You can just come out for some sun every once in a while, and it's comfortable because you feel like you have your own space. Yeah, but it's kind of funny at the same time. I just found a decent spot to set up at for my video. There are a lot of people at the park today, and the reason why is because it's a holiday, so a lot of families come out to enjoy their time together, and it's really nice little atmosphere. You get to people watch if you want to, which I like to. Do you guys like to people watch? I sure do. I'm taking a quick break from my Banana Island video, and I'm just sitting here because my camera said it was getting too hot, so I have my tripod case covering it. I guess it was sitting in the sun for way too long and got hot, so giving it a little rest before I start back, and I'm gonna finish it up. It's a long video, but I hope you guys watch it. It's really nice out here. It's good to get some sun. There are lots of people walking. Yeah. While I'm waiting here, I decided that I would tell you guys a story. It's a story about, well, I'll just tell you the story. The other day, I was sitting with Annie in the subway station, waiting for the train to come. And we were sitting on a bench, and we were about 5 steps away from the door where the train comes and we walk in. There was a man standing by one of the door entrances, and he kept looking back and looking at me. And I told Annie, that man keeps staring. Like, he was staring hard. I get hard stares, but that was like an extreme stare. So I told her, like, this man keeps looking at me. But I'm used to it to an extent, but it was just a little bit too much because he just kept turning and kept turning. So I just brushed it off because I'm used to people staring. But it did really, like, it was like so, like, dead on or head on, whatever you call it. So anyway, the train ends up coming and we walk into the subway. As we walked into the subway, I noticed that he started moving towards the door that we had entered into. So he was standing at one door here, and we were sitting over here, and the train comes, we get up and we go to the other door here. I noticed that he was trying to go that way. I can't remember though because he was already at the door, and by the time we got into the door, he had slowed down, so he waited for us to go into the subway and sit down before he sat down. And I don't remember if he walked into the same door as us and waited, or if he just waited at his door. But I did notice that he hesitated before going in. And so we sat down first, and then he sat down. There was a space next to me, empty, and another space empty next to me. He sat in the other space, so there was a seat between us. So I noticed, like, okay, he chose that seat. But I didn't think too much of it until he scooted more in between the two seats. So he ended up sitting in between, taking up 2 seats and a little bit closer to me. And so I was like, okay, I need to watch this guy because he's already like showing some weird signs. And he was older. a little bit older, like maybe in his 40s or 50s. I think 50s. He took up 2 seats, and I noticed that he kept looking at me, like from the side, trying to look at me. And I was just like, I told Annie, look at the man. Like, he kept looking so she could see him through the window in front of us. But then I noticed that he opened his leg a little bit more on the left, which I was on this side. If I'm the man, he was seated, and he opened his leg a little more on this side. And I was like, I think he's trying to touch me, because he had opened one leg more. He didn't open both legs, and there was a man on the other side. So he was already sitting in between the seats, taking up 2 seats. And then he opened one side of his leg more than the other. I know how men like to open their legs to sit, but he just opened one side. And so I just became more aware of like what this man was doing. By the way, this is not like a huge, like crazy story. It's just a kind of experience that I had, so I thought I'd share it with you. He quickly, so these are his legs. He quickly went like this and hit my leg, and I jumped. And then I looked at him a little bit, and then like moved my head. And then a few seconds later, or like about a minute later, he went like this, and I jumped, and I looked at him. And then I fully looked him dead on, and he had this smirk on his face. Like, it was like a kind of, it was a creepy smirk, but I think he was trying to flirt or something. Like say like, oh, I'm interested or something. I don't even know. It was a weird smirk. Like, I can't even do it. I can't reenact it, but I still clearly can see his little smirk on his face. And it wasn't like a scary, I'm gonna get you smirk. It was more of a, I'm trying to flirt with you, but I'm creepy smirk. So I looked at him dead on right after he did that, and he had that smirk on his face. And then I said, well, and I looked at him like, and he said, Ani. And so I just turned around, and I was like, ugh. And so then I don't even think Annie had heard or saw any of what had happened. It was like a really quick happening. And then I told Annie, did you see what happened? And she was like, no. What happened? Did he touch you? Da, da, da. And I was like, not really, but I'll explain to you later. Because so far up until now, nothing really crazy had happened. I knew that I could handle myself enough in Korean if anything did escalate. There were people on the train, and everything was like out in the open. So I was just like, so I told Annie after that happened, because he had looked shocked. Like, I think he didn't expect me to respond in Korean. And so he just like, from then on, he went into his own space and kind of like zoned out for a bit. He had his eyes closed, and then like, I think he just realized like, okay, her response was like, well, like, what are you doing? Like, what? So I think he was kind of like, okay, let me stop. And I knew it wasn't like a big deal to really explain it to her fully, but I did tell her, and I warned her that before we got off, I was gonna get up first and she was gonna stay seated. That way, if anything happened, she could see. And I'm not crazy. And also, I just felt more comfortable if she were to stay seated and watch what was happening. If he was gonna try and do anything else, at least I was getting up first and she could see what was going on. And so she said, okay. And I told her I wouldn't explain why at the moment, but just to watch that I would get up first. So I got up first and nothing happened. And I just stood there. He stared at me for a bit. And then we finally got off of our exit, and he got out on the same one, but it was a popular exit to get off at, so he wasn't following us. He stood at the elevator and he stared at me, and Annie finally saw him staring very hard again at me. Yeah, she noticed how creepy it was that he was staring so hard. So pretty much that's what happened. Nothing escalated further than that, but it was just, I guess that was my weirdest experience, or not weirdest, because I do have some older stories of my old experiences in Korea, but recently that's my weirdest experience here with men in Korea. And I mean, if that is the extent that it takes, I mean, that's nothing compared to what I've experienced in other countries, but I was definitely a bit traumatized because I have had some experiences in Mexico with men on the subway and men in general, and it really did traumatize me. And after this experience in Korea, even though it was so minor, I realized how traumatized I am regarding men in the subway. And I will be sharing some of my experiences later on about what happened to me in Mexico, and that experience that has traumatized me so much. And I just now need to work on letting go of that and understanding that not all men on the subway are like that. So yeah, that's my little story. I just wanted to share it with you guys to share my experience, and this has been a very long story, so I'm gonna get back to my video. A cool thing about Korea is that a lot of the older people know which vegetables to pick from the park, and so a lot of times you'll see people picking greens, and it's very cool that they know what they can use. I wish our parks in the US grew things like spinach and kale and stuff that we could pick on our own. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, but this stuff just grows freely here. This is pretty much the plant that she's picking. It's nice to see so many families here. I had a good time at the park, and I'm gonna head home and make some food. I think I'm gonna make some soup because I have a lot of vegetables like celery and some other stuff that I need to use up because it's starting to wilt. So I think I'm gonna make some soup, like potato soup, and yeah. It's a really nice day today, so I'm glad I got out and got a chance to film. A very nice day. While I make my soup, I'm gonna snack on this rice cake. This is my favorite rice cake. It's so delicious. Alright guys, it's the next day. I had such a good sleep. Oh. Time to go to work, and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, I thought I would say one thing I'm thankful for. I am very, very thankful. I just spit. I'm very, very thankful for this weather. The weather is very nice, and I just really enjoy being able to go out, even just for a few minutes, and enjoy it. Yeah, so I'm thankful for the weather. What are you guys thankful for? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.